Welcome back from the desk of Low. Now, the guest that I have on the phone with me, I listened to some of his interviews. He goes by the Interview King. You might know him from ForbesDVD. He went on to start his own platform, Doggie Diamonds, no filter. Gave away the guest right there. But without further introduction, this is my guy right here. I used to listen to his interviews like before even I started podcasting, but it's only right that I pay homage to him and ask him a few interesting questions. So, how you doing, Doggie Diamonds?
I'm good. How's everything with you?
I'm doing well, sir. So I'm curious, Doggy Diamonds. The first time I ever heard from you, Forbes DVD. You used to being the interviewer, but now you're being interviewed. I was curious, when did you find your passion for interviewing, sir?
I used to interview myself in the mirror when I was younger. Because I used to practice interviewing because I used to say, I used to look at interviews and I used to say, damn, man, these people, when they do interviews, they're kind of dumb. Like, they don't know how to respond, or they be like, yeah, and they're not articulate. So I used to practice interviewing myself. So my passion for interviewing came from me being young and just actually practicing myself. So we talking about maybe like 1993, 94. I used to just sit in the mirror and ask myself questions. I know it sounds crazy as hell, but yeah, that's how I used to do it. So that was my passion. And then the passion from interviewing came when I did like my first interview. I did an interview for a website called Trickology, and I interviewed Ghostface Killer over the phone.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, yo, man, I think I could. Yeah, I was like, and then I lost the interview. So don't nobody kill me for that. But yeah, I lost the interview because I this is at the time when you did it over the phone. And this is like 1990, early 90s. Well, late 90s. It probably was like 90. Let's say 90. 98 or something like that. But it was no, I'm bugging out. It was later than that because he was doing the project with Trife the God. So let's say it was 2000 and
Around Supreme Clientele,
2000.
let's say.
No. It definitely wasn't that. It was Trife the God was around, which he changed his name to Trife Diesel. So let's say 2003, 2004 was around that time.
Okay.
So yeah, I was using the iPad. I mean, the iPod, because you used to be able to plug a device on the top of the iPod and record audio.
Yeah.
And my iPod went dead on me. So that was it. It was the iPod conked out. So I have a lost Ghostface interview in there that I can't get out. But
that's pretty good for your first interview.
Yeah, it was my first interview ever with Ghostface. Yep, my first ever
interview. When you were, because you interviewed like a lot of people, like Nicki Minaj, Meek Mill, Prodigy, do you remember, did you ever do like written interviews, or was it always audio interviews from you from the start, sir?
The Ghostface, believe it or not, was supposed to be audio, and then I had to transcribe the audio. So that was going to be a pain in the you-know-what. So, no, it was all just like all audio and visual interviews. I never really did print interviews or nothing like that. No, I never really did that. And I never wrote a question down either.
So everything's just off the top of the head.
Everything is off the top of the head, and I'm going to tell you why. When I first did the first Ghostface interview, I wrote down 12 questions. And he answered he had a long answer. He answered every question I had in one answer. So I had to freestyle from there. So ever since then, I said, you know what? Never write a question down, because if they give a certain answer, it's over. So yeah, everything is off the top of the head. Everything is freestyle. Every interview you ever saw of me or heard has been freestyle. Never wrote a question down.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, because when I watch your videos, like the Oskino and the Peedi Crakk one, I noticed like you never had like your phone in your hand, and you never like had a red notepad.
Nope, no notes. Everything is in my brain.
Okay.
Everything. Yeah.
So would you say that you're a co-founder of ForbesDVD, sir?
Actual facts, yes. Me and Emret co-founded ForbesDVD, and you know, it's been a long journey. I think we've had the site for how many? I can say since 2000, for 12 years. ForbesDVD.com has been in existence
Oh,
for
wow.
12 years.
Yeah, would you say that's when things really started to like take off for you, sir?
Definitely, because we were transitioning from the DVD, you know, in the ForbesDVD. People think that it's actually a DVD, but the DVD stands for digital video on demand. Like, we changed the title for, you know, for ForbesDVD. So the DVD and ForbesDVD stands for digital video on demand, because, you know, now everything is digital and you can watch whatever you want on demand. So that's why it's still called ForbesDVD. But yeah, everything changed because we realized when we was doing the Come Up DVD that everything was going to go digital. So, you know, you can see, like, when you put out a DVD, it might be quarterly, it might be monthly, might be weekly you put out a DVD, but then that has to circulate, opposed to doing something digitally online. Everybody can get it right there that day, you know, as opposed to an actual physical DVD. So that's definitely when everything changed when we started ForbesDVD.
So you kind of knew like ahead of time that everything was gonna go digital within time because you're like, yo, this DVD thing ain't gonna last forever.
Yeah, because you got to look at where it was going as far as the CDs. Everything was going digital with MP3s. It's only right that they're going to get rid of the DVDs. You know, it's you know, same thing. Audio and visual go together. So I remember me and Rec was like, yo, we got to, you know, do more on the internet. Me and Rec was always internet savvy. We both used to talk on AOL, Instant Messenger. You know,
I
like
remember that.
when you had dial up and somebody would call too much and knock you off. You know, we used to talk on that. You know, I still remember his screen name. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like it's that. You know, so we had foresight that it was going to go digital. So we hopped into that world of, you know, of internet back then because we knew where it was going.
Okay, and just for the people that know, you're from New York, right?
Brooklyn, New York. I'm from New York, but, you know, us Brooklyn Knights, we're very, very territorial. And if you ask anybody from Brooklyn, they will be like, I'm not from New York, I'm from Brooklyn. We, you know, us Brooklyn people really believe that Brooklyn is its own city, state, and country. So, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
That's facts. Brooklyn got some real ones, though.
Yep.
So you being from Brooklyn and having been around like a lot of these people who actually live in New York too, do you run into it in a lot of them before that you interviewed them?
Oh, yeah, I grew up with so many artists. Like, I grew up with Biggie, I grew up with Lil' Kim, grew up with Junior Mafia, grew up with Foxy Brown, Easy Mo B, Smith and Wesson, Heltah Skeltah, Uncle Murder. I grew up with, you know, I've seen all of them prior to many of us even making it in music. Like, I've known many of them prior to that. So I bump into a lot of people, and then me doing what I do, I see people out and about all the time. I grew up around Wu-Tang, you know. I lived in Staten Island for a few years. Grew up around Wu-Tang, the same building, 160 Clark Hill. You know, my grandmother's actually responsible for Method Man even living on Staten Island, him and his mother and his sister, you know. So that's the story that he'll tell, you know. So, yeah, like I've been around a lot of these artists prior to any of us even doing music.
Oh wow, I never never knew you had such a long history with that growing up with them because I seen you even interviewed Heltah Skeltah and I always wanted to ask you about that interview because I noticed like 10 minutes or 15 minutes they changed clothes, so that obviously took a couple days to film, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because we had did part one, and this is before the DSLR cameras, so you would have to record in a mini DV or a high 8 or DVC. I think at this particular time we was doing mini DV tapes. So you would record and you would run out of tape or the studio session, and then we would just go, you know, record and then like, yo, we'll be back tomorrow. So I think it was 2 days actually. It wasn't a 3-4 day thing. Yeah, it was 2 days. And we just came back and just finished recording And that was a 2 day interview, but it was long. And this is like one thing about my interviews. I like to do in-depth interviews. Some people are, attention span change. So
Yeah.
now if an interview is too long, people are just like, man, I ain't watching this whole hour. The engagement, is a little off now. So sometimes you put out clips. Then when you put out clips in the interview, people are mad. Put out the whole interview. So it's hard to please people. You just got to do what you do. Stick to your gun. But yeah, the Heltah Skeltah, I think that was 2 days. I think we came there one day, film, and then the studio. Then they had to record, and then we just came back the next day. And that was, I think that was on 30th Street, like a studio over there. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was over there. But yeah, Cheryl Price was a real good friend of mine.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Ruck right there. Ruck forever right there. He seemed like a very down-to-earth individual, and like what Buckshot said, he really lived life to the fullest.
Yeah, he lived on the edge. The only, I in his passing, it affected me because I didn't, hip hop is so young. So when you start seeing people in hip hop pass away, it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he's 80 years old. It's not like he's 70. So yeah, he lived life to the fullest, but he's still relatively young. He's older than me, but he still was young. And, just to see him pass away and you put him with hip-hop, it's like, damn, he passed away. Hip-hop is young. Hip-hop is only like 40-something years old. And, just to see somebody a little old, I think he was older than hip-hop at the time, and, just to see him pass away, then he was a friend, and it's just like, damn, he lived his life, but there's so much life to live still, like, then again, what's the right age to pass away?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the right age to pass away, especially when you just had a young daughter, you had an older son, so, I don't think it's the right age, but, nah, he definitely, he enjoyed life, let's just say that he definitely enjoyed life. I just wish he was around to see more life.
Yeah, because like everyone deserves to, see the fruits of their labor, and like it always like bothers me when people like gravitate towards somebody when somebody dies, but like people actually gave him his flowers while he can smell them, and that's what like I loved about Sean Price's story.
Yes. I mean, I still got his DMs. I still got his number in my phone. It's tough because, like I said, me and him had a relationship outside of industry. We would actually talk on the phone and, build. And Sean Price was, he was just funny as hell. Like, I don't even think he was trying to be funny sometimes. I think it was just, that's who he was. And it was just, he was just a pleasure to be around and, like, laugh and joke and just talk about music and just, just life and stuff like that. So, that's what I definitely miss about him. But, I try not to be, even though I had a close relationship with him, I try not to be selfish with his life because there were so many people that did love him. So I'm not the only one who missed him. Like sometimes people pass away and they be like, I miss him. That was my number one. It's like, man, everybody loved him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I miss him too. But he had children. He had children. And I know, I'm never going to be able to feel their pain, and the wife. He had the children and the wife, and I'm not going to feel their pain. But I think sometimes when people pass away, they try to make it so personal, like they took the biggest loss. We all suffering the same with the loss of Sean Price, but we'll never feel the pain of a wife losing a husband or children losing their father. I'm not even trying to compete with that. And I think people be trying to compete with, like, they took the biggest loss. No, we all lost, but, that woman lost her husband and them children lost their father.
Yeah, because they're with them literally every day of their lives, as opposed to like people that just know him, and like, you see him when he has free time, but like they were with him every day. So that's very
Exactly.
true.
Yeah, we pop in and out. We're not day in and day out. We pop in and out, but they're day in and day out. So like, yeah, that's that's just how I feel. But it's no right and wrong way to mourn. And forgiveness for a lot of people. Like, how do you mourn? You know what I mean? We lost somebody that was iconic to our culture and just was an overall good guy. How do you mourn? Some people, listen to his music all the time. You know, some people really, really are affected by his passing. You know, but I just don't like the selfishness sometimes. So I guess that's why I'm saying that, because it do be people like, you know, well, man, you know, you don't know how I feel. It's like, well, damn, like, you can't be feeling worse than his wife. You know what I'm saying? You can't feel worse than his children. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like calm down.
Yeah, and that actually shows that, you know, like, people like you out there understand, like, you know, like that's a wife and children that lost their father, and like a lot of people don't see that point. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes, no, that's we have to always be, you know, because we have to be, even though we're in entertainment and we do things in entertainment, we still have to remember that we're human beings and we always have to be human. Like this entertainment shit, you know, I'm not Doggie Diamonds. I don't sleep with my shades on. You know what I mean? Like I'm not laying in the house with my shades on in a fitted. You know, I'm walking around in boxes in a t-shirt. You know, like, so we have to, you know, be human. And I think a lot of times, because of social media and because we always have this face on, a lot of people forget being human. And you got to cut that shit off sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not Doggie Diamonds in my house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not Doggie Diamonds with my grandmother. I'm not Doggie Diamonds with the children in my family. You know, I'm their cousin. I'm their, you know, their uncle. I'm their grandson. And I think a lot of times, because of this entertainment thing, and everybody becomes their screen name, you know, because when you log on social media, you're your screen name. You're not who you are. You're whatever you said your name was. That's who you are. And people forget. You got to cut that off. You know what I'm saying? It comes a time where you have to be human. You have to have compassion, and you have to have love for life and people. And I don't think people know when to differentiate social media, entertainment, and real life. And I definitely do.
Yeah, and you're definitely full of culture too. Like, I was curious too, the very first time that somebody ever sent you unreleased music, and you're like, "Damn, like I'm getting this."
Yeah. Cormega sent me, you know, not the first time, but recently, Cormega, his album Mega, he sent that to me. I heard it way before it came out, and I was sitting there like, wow, like, man, I got Cormega's album, and none of y'all have it. You know what I'm saying? It's EP, rather. You know, so, and then you got to remember, growing up around, you know, Biggie and seeing him and actually recording music for him, I heard a lot of music that nobody's ever heard. You know, just being there. Sean Price, the Price of Fame album that he's coming out with produced by Lil Fame from MOP. I actually heard a lot of that. You know, I heard of that sitting at his kitchen tape. You know, so I definitely hear a lot of unreleased music from your favorite artists way before it comes out. You know, studio sessions. I've been in a lot of studio sessions. So that's you know, like I said, being in my position, being definitely in the culture of hip hop, definitely has its perks. And like I said, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Yeah, because you actually got to see when, like, things were before digital and the studio sessions, I'm guessing, when everything was on tapes back then.
I love it, man.
That's a time that can never be replicated.
Yeah, there's no vibe. And I'm telling everybody out here, all the listeners, there's no vibe like being in that studio and watching magic happen. I mean, you'll see, you know, now they fly vocals. You know, the person email the vocals to somebody. Now it's nothing like being in the studio and seeing two of your favorite artists record. And you're like, wow, they really about to do a song. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really in the Heltah Skeltah session. You know, like, I'm really sitting here, you know, and they really about to go record. And, oh, that's how he does his ad-libs. And, oh, okay. He doesn't punch in. Or, okay, look how he recorded his vocals. Okay. Look at the part. Look how they came up with the chorus. That's the part of hip-hop that a lot of people don't get to experience because they're not there. Everything is, we see the finished product, we hear the finished product, or the artist is, you know, and it's good because they get to collaborate a little bit more, so they email vocals. That's a good thing. But it's nothing like that magic of just sitting there and watching a masterpiece come together. Because you got to remember, too, sometimes you might be in a session and you hear a song and you're like, yo, man, I'm feeling it. and then you come back and they might have changed something, and you're like, wow, yo, y'all took it to the next level. I wasn't even here. So the creation of music definitely suffered with digital. The output is great. The output is great. You can do more. You can, like I said, a person could be all the way somewhere, and it's very inexpensive to just email vocals, but nothing is like that magic of being in that session and seeing this creation, come to life right in your face. You there in the infantile stages of the creation, and then you just see magic just happen.
Yeah, and that's also like what a lot of people don't get to see, because people just get to hear the finished product. They don't get to see what goes into the song. Like, oh, that's how he does his ad libs, or this is how they do it the hook.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like, or I didn't know that. This person might have asthma, or this person was drunk, or this person in the room is the one who said a word, and it sparked the whole record. And that's. I think that's why, some songs are not that creative. Because recording of songs and the making of music used to be like community-based. There'd be a lot of people in the studio, and it wasn't all about smoking and drinking. It was about creating. And it was about making the best hip-hop you can make. And everybody wanted to be a part of, we're about to make the best, the best whatever. Whether it was hip hop or whatever it was, we're about to be the best, and I don't think that that's really there anymore. I just think people just want to make music and and then say it's the best, but I don't think people are really, really competitive anymore with music.
Yeah, because like you grew up in an era where people took lyricalism more seriously as opposed to now. But ballers are coming back. But I'm curious. Did you get to experience the park jams growing up? Because when I was talking of OC, that's a time that can never be replicated in New York. And New York, that's like a place where the park jams really, really brought the essence of hip hop alive.
I was, unfortunately, I was a little too young for the park jams. I missed that by by maybe 5 years. But I remember, local park jams. But I can't, if I sit here and say, no, man, I was in the Bronx, I would be lying to you. I was too young for that. So,
at least you keep it back. That's good.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't miss some of that. But, growing up later on, I was able to be a part of my own park jams, DJing my own block parties and stuff like that. So in that sense, yeah, I did see some of the park jams because I was a part of, creating some of the park jams. But as far as the vintage stuff, nah, a lot of those guys are older than me, so I wasn't even. When the lights came on, I had to be in the house. I didn't even get a chance to leave my block.
Yeah.
If I sit here and say, yeah, man, I was there, and I was on in the Bronx, no, I'll be sitting here lying. I definitely missed a lot of that. But like I said, the good thing was carrying on tradition. When I got old enough to be a DJ and do my thing, I was a part of the park jams because we was a part of creating them. We were doing our own park jams. So.
How was high school like for you coming up, sir?
I didn't go to high school. I dropped out. I'm going to keep it all the way 1,000 to you. I dropped out of high school in 9th grade. The thing with high school was in New York, it was pretty different. And like you say, 1990, 91, that would have been like, I think if I had stayed in high school, I would have graduated high school in about 94, maybe? Yeah, I would have probably graduated in 94, 95. And it was very violent growing up where I was at. So we would go to school and come out to school and see dudes out there with guns ready to shoot us and stuff like that. So we would have to take guns to school and all stuff like that. So I didn't go to school. I'm all the way honest. I just didn't go to school.
Hey, I don't blame you if you got to go with those conditions too. Damn.
Yeah, school was very, very was a dangerous thing. It wasn't a walk in the park. It wasn't you going there to learn. It was like gladiator school. Unfortunately, and yeah. So I was like, man, I'm not going to school. And then one time, my cousin got shot, and it was Abraham Lincoln's birthday, I believe. We wasn't even in school. We had the day off. And at that time, we were saying, we going to start going to school. We going to get it together. And my cousin got shot on a holiday.
Oh, damn, man.
Yeah, so, he's alive. He got hit in the leg. He's alive, thankfully. But I was young. I was maybe like 13 years old. And I was standing right there when he got shot. So that really just he was like, look, man, these guys are serious. They be coming up to the school looking for us. They already came to the neighborhood on the day off and shot him. Nah, we gonna do something else. So I didn't go to school.
Oh. Hey, well, like I said, like a lot of people, they were saying, I went to school, but a lot of people keep it a buck, so that's good, though.
Nah, I didn't go. I was like, man, the hell with school.
I noticed during, your earlier interviews, you weren't really in front of the camera much as opposed to now. I was curious, what inspired that, sir? Or did people just wanted to start to see who you are? Like, you always started to get people like, yo, who's the guy behind the camera? That's what I was curious about, too.
It was a combination of both. When I first started doing interviews, I wanted my anonymity. I didn't want to be known. I wanted to, I wanted to be just the guy who did his job, the guy who did a good interview. And what happened was people started, when I was out and about and people recognized that I was the person doing the interview, people started calling me Forbes. They would say, yo, Forbes, what up? And I'd be like, oh, that's not my name. My name is Doggie Diamonds. So what happened was I started losing my identity. Imrek was able to be Imrek because he's an artist and you know him out there from doing his music. But I was Forbes. And I'm like, oh, that's not my name. So once people start calling you the brand, you lose your personal identity. Like Smack name is not Smack. Smack is the DVD. His name is Troy. But now his name is Smack and he has to be Smack. So if the Smack brand ever goes away, so does he. So, it's never going to happen. But if ForbesDVD had ever crashed or ever went away, I'm Forbes. I can't say, yo, what's up? This is Doggie Diamonds. People are like, who the hell is that? No, you're not. You're Forbes. So it's almost like I had to rebrand. So I said, you know what? I seen people coming in the game after me. They're getting these opportunities because they're more visual, they're more visible, and people know who they are, and they got popularity because they're visible, but not popularity, they get an opportunity because they're visible. And I'm like, I'm not getting some of the opportunities because I think people don't put the face with the name. So now we're in the visual. When you go on Snapchat, that's pictures. When you go on Instagram, that's pictures. When you go on Facebook, that's pictures. I'm like, you know what? I got to get on the camera.
Okay.
So that's what made me get on the camera. And, that's what I decided. Now I got to get on the camera.
Yeah, because I consider you, sorry if you take offense to this, but I consider you one of the OGs when it comes to this type of thing, sir.
Why would I be offended? You speaking facts right now. I'm definitely the OG. I'm definitely one of the founders. Besides, Ralph McDaniels, but in this visual DVD era, yes, I'm definitely one of the OGs. And OG, because OG, the term OG has got changed from being original gangster. There's people just calling you old. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely one of the original gangsters of this whole DVD podcasting thing. Yes, I'm definitely one of the founders, if not the founders, for many of, the way things are being done. Because when I was doing interviews, I'm telling you, people used to look at me like, man, what the hell are you doing? You a clown. You know what I'm saying? Not in that sense, but it was more like, well, why are you doing interviews? You know what I'm saying? Yo, you're a music producer. Why don't you just stick to doing music? What is this interview thing all about? I have videos from Price saying, yo, y'all know he do beats, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, when you going to stop doing this beat thing, when you going to stop doing this interview thing, you get back to the beats. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what a lot of people like. A lot of times you'll see Sean Price ask me, even Alchemist hit me up one time, like, yo, can I get some beats? You know what I'm saying? So, that's definitely what people knew me for a long time. So it was tough to get people to recognize and realize, no, I'm really doing media. But now, I'm really looked at as a staple in media.
Yeah, that's facts right there, too. Would you say you still have a lot of those old DVDs that you always hold near and dear to your heart, like the Forbes DVDs?
Yeah, everything. I have everything because I filmed and edited most of them. So yeah, I have everything. I have everything. I still have like a lot of unreleased footage that people never saw before. You know, I got old Nicki Minaj interviews that people never saw before. I got a lot of stuff that they've never seen before.
Because you grew up in New York too, and that was the place to get the Smack DVDs, man. I remember I looked so, because I'm in Canada, so you can only imagine how hard it is just to find those. Did you have a few Smack DVDs?
I had a few, but remember, we were the competitors. I was doing
That's what I was gonna say too.
He would look at the Smack to see who he had on the DVD where he was working, but now we was the come-up DVD.
Yeah.
You know, we was the come-up DVD, so we was like, yeah, that Smack is cool, but we better, you know. And shout out to Smack, shout out to Cocaine City, which is French Montana, which he doesn't really like to say to people that he was the person doing the DVD, you know, because he rebranded himself as an artist, which is cool, but he definitely was the person on the camera doing the DVD.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. We remember French. Don't worry, we remember.
Yep, Frenchie. Definitely, he was Frenchie.
When you were pressing up DVDs too, because like you said, everything's digital now too. Did you ever have to pay like a ridiculous amount for like pressing up CDs and covers, or was like everything basically just like you doing it?
No. We paid because we was. I remember we was doing thousands of DVDs.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I was gonna say like that's like a lot of DVDs to do by yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot of DVDs, and then what happens in New York is you had bootleggers, so you had to press up your DVD and try to get it everywhere before the bootleggers bootleg. So you might press up a DVD, drop it off in Brooklyn, and it'll beat you to Queens. Like the bootleggers already duplicated your DVD and put it in Queens. So by the time you going out to Queens and say, "Here, I got a new DVD," like, "Oh, we got it already." Like, how you got it and you didn't get it from me? I'm the only one who has my DVD, but the bootleggers would beat you to another borough. This is crazy, but yeah. So you know, you lost money, you gained money, but most of the time you built a brand. And even recently, I was saying, yo, I just want to do one DVD just for the nostalgia of it, to put something out on the street. And I wanted to get bootleg, believe it or not, because it's promo. I actually wanted to get bootleg.
Hey, if it's anything's good publicity, they say.
Yep, that's how I feel right now. Yep, I wanted to get bootleg. I wanted to circulate. Yep, that's how I am right now.
Do you ever see like some of your old DVDs go on eBay for a ridiculous amount? It's like, yo, that's my DVD.
No, you know what? I never looked. No, you gonna make me look now. Yeah, I'm gonna actually end up looking. Yeah, I'm gonna end up looking. I've had I looked on eBay and seen records that I did when I was with my group when we did songs on eBay, and I'm like, hey man, they make more money off my stuff than I did. I didn't even make that amount of money. Yeah, but you know, it's cool, man. Like, it's cool. Like, the one thing about this whole thing that we do with media and various things, the fact that we're even acknowledged and people even, you know who we are, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with that. So it's cool.
Yeah, because that's the more rewarding part than more money can ever pay you.
Yeah, but the money is good too, though. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
Some people be like, I'd rather be respected and I'd rather be known, and I love hip hop. No, the money is the most rewarding thing, because you always have to remember, everything you do, somebody makes money off you.
Yeah.
So you better try to make money off yourself.
I was curious too. When you were coming up too, like, did you, like, for somebody who didn't grow up in New York and you wanted to interview them, did they, like, you don't gotta say the name, but did somebody try to charge you like a ridiculous amount? I was like, man, I ain't paying that.
I never got charged for interviews, so I wouldn't even. We could go to the next question. No, nobody ever charged me. Never.
But
I wouldn't even pay. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even pay if somebody was charging me. I wouldn't even pay, like, because first of all, whenever you pay for something, it has to be an ROI, which is a return on investment. So if I'm paying you for something, if I pay you $40 for something, that means that I'm going to be making $120 or $160. If I'm making my $40 back, what's the purpose of doing it?
Yeah.
So no, I would never pay. But I would never pay for an interview ever.
Yeah, because there's some people out there that be charging like ridiculous amounts. Like, man, like you're crazy out here. Like, it's good, but it's not even that. It just like a lot of people don't see the value in an interview because a 3 minute song, yeah, that's cool. You can still get to know the artist, but if you really, really fuck with that artist, you go listen to his old interviews. Like that's how, like I found you like through Peedi Crakk or Skino, because like I love State Property.
Wow, and that's crazy because I did those when I first started my podcast. It was like some of my first early interviews. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's a good thing, and the interview works for everybody. And I felt like from that interview when I did with Peedi Crakk, I felt like you knew who Peedi Crakk was because he was saying things that you didn't know in that interview. Like you learned who he was from that interview. You didn't know how he started, and Osino was the one who brought him around, and you didn't know those stories. And that's what I like about my interviews. I like the backstory. I like the beginning. Hold on for 1 second. Let me blend something. I had to blend my smoothie really quick.
That's good. Healthy living. Like to see that.
Yeah, I'm drinking my sea moss and my flaxseed, and I got a lot of different things that I drink on a daily basis. So this is definitely one of my power drinks. Got some peanuts in there, some cinnamon.
I like how you said that about like Peedi Crakk, like Oskino brought him around. Like I'm gonna keep it all the way in mill on that. I can't tell you how much times like I rewatched that interview just because like there was little things that I missed. I was like, like go back rewatch it though. But I just want to let you know like that was a fucking good interview, sir.
I'm happy about that. I'm not mad that you keep going back and forth. Get them views up. Keep them views up. And we did that right in this apartment I was staying in. Right in the apartment.
I was curious when you were doing the backdrop too. Like, where was the most like like the place that you recorded is like, damn, I can't believe we just did an interview in that spot.
Man, I used to do interviews in pissy staircases. I would do interviews in the project hole. I did an interview with Mr. Marcus with Porn Star, like in the lobby of the project. I never put it out, but yeah, I would do interviews anywhere. Gilly the Kid, I did an interview outside the projects. He probably act like he don't remember that, but yeah, outside of the project. Yep.
Because you were on to a lot of people early, and then you see them to go on to have major success. I was curious on how that feels, knowing that you were on to before like everyone else was.
I mean, I just have a lot of foresight with this game, and I believe that a lot of people deserve a chance. So when I see people doing a thing, I'm like, yo, this dude might blow up. I like to be on it. I like to be on it. And it feels good, like, to see where Nipsey was and when I first met him. And then seeing where he was after a while, I'm like, dang, he's really like, a cultural icon right now. But I remember the dude in the Sony offices just, humble, which he always remained that way. But I just remember, meeting him that first day and then the whole world knowing who he is. Unfortunately, everybody knew who he was when he passed. But prior to that, he had decent popularity. But just seeing who he became when he passed away was kind of bittersweet, but it is what it is.
Yeah, because like it's like what you said earlier. There's no set time on when we're supposed to leave this earth.
Mhm. We don't know. I mean, if we did know, we probably would live life different. We probably would, do things a little different. But that's one thing we don't know when it's over. We never know when it's over. So you got to enjoy life. You got to live life. You got to smile. Because, unfortunately, when it's over, you leave a legacy behind. That's one of the great things. If you did well, you can leave a legacy. But it's nothing like, leaving your loved ones. That's hard as hell, man. That's hard as hell.
Yeah, that's a totally different story. Leaving your loved ones.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, we, us as artists and as fans of artists, I think sometimes we miss the person, but leaving your loved ones, man, like, damn, some of these men have children and wives and, loved ones. We love them as fans, but imagine how their family feel.
Yeah. I seen in mind you, I don't know how old this interview was with you and Tragedy. You told him that he made your iPod, and not a lot of people made your iPod. I was curious, do you still hold that standard?
Yes, I don't listen to everybody's music. Yep, I don't listen to everybody's music. I have a gym playlist, and I don't listen to a lot of music because it doesn't inspire me. I listen to music for different reasons. Some music is just straight up ignorant, and it brings out an ignorant side to you, and that's cool. But I really listen to music that's uplifting, and I don't even mean uplifting in the sense of I believe I'm gonna fly type music, but just something where I just feel good sometimes. Like I want to get up. It's almost like getting up in the morning and throwing on Jay-Z. You can't knock the hustle because you're about to go hit the block or you're about to go to work, and it's just something to start your day. So when I'm in the gym, I want to listen to something. I want to hear some MOP. I want to hear something that's gonna raise my spirit, not something that's gonna have me in there like, I'm down or I'm bouncing around and stuff like that. No, I want to listen to something that's gonna have me like, yeah, let's start this day. Let's get this gym workout in. Let's push these weights. Let's go an extra 10 minutes on this treadmill. So yeah, I definitely, that standard is never gonna. That's never gonna leave.
That's good to hear.
I'm always gonna have that standard. Yeah, everybody does not make Doggie Diamonds iPods, even though we don't listen to iPods anymore.
Yeah, because on the phone.
Yeah, but everybody doesn't make my phone. Everybody, if you on my phone, be proud, because everybody doesn't make my phone. Barely anybody makes my phone. Hold on, one more blending moment. Hold on.
Oh yeah, no worries, my G.
Yeah, I had a date in there and it didn't want to blend. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I started putting dates inside of my drink too, for the sugar, for the sweet.
Okay.
Plus dates are good for you. Yeah.
Do you have a particular favorite interview that, like, you always be like, that's my favorite interview, or it's kind of hard to pick a favorite interview because without everything you accomplish?
My favorite interview will always be the Max B.
Free to Wave.
Yeah, it's always going to be the Max B interview because that was like my breakout interview, and that was his breakout interview. That's the interview that people always going to go back. There was so many quotables, so many moments in that interview. He was so animated, so it's always going to be the Max B interview. Somebody just sent that interview to me yesterday. It was like, yo, this is the greatest interview of all time. So I'm like, I tend to agree with you. I'm not mad if you say that. I agree.
That's good to see that you acknowledge it too, because, like, do you ever go back and re-listen to your old interviews and then you kind of forget, like, that's you asking the questions until you hear the voice, like, damn, that's me?
Nope. Because I remember every moment of every interview. Some things I forgot that I've done. So in that aspect, yes, sometimes I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot that interview. Yeah. But I definitely remember if I see it, I remember where we was at, what we did, because everybody who knows me know that I got a very crazy memory. I just remember everything. That's why I don't write questions down, because I just remember.
Okay. And my favorite, well, I don't know how much time people hit you up about this, about you, but my very favorite interview is the Peedi Crakk's the second one, but my very, very favorite one is the Prodigy one.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that interview too, because it was in depth. He really, I felt like after the interview, you felt like you knew more about Prodigy. If you didn't know him in that interview, you felt like, okay, I got a little better understanding. He talks about Nas in the interview. He talks about some of his beefs. He talks about, different things in that interview. That, I love that interview too.
Yeah, and I never knew there was like so much about Prodigy, like with the history of him and Jay in that interview. Like that interview was
Mm-hmm.
so in depth. Like that's why I always go back and just
Mm-hmm.
listen. And then plus, like that's what made me like realize that we have to give people their flowers while they can smell them too, man. Because like when P died, man, like I seen the output from the community and like even actors were shouting this guy out. But it's like, how come like y'all didn't show him this kind of love while he was here? And it kind of like made me realize like we really have to cherish the ones that are here and put the work in.
Yeah, like I said, I really believe that it's because hip hop is so young, and you don't think that a relatively young individual, 43, 42 years old, is gonna die. Like we don't, hip hop is very, very bravado, very macho, and if a guy doesn't die in a sense of killing, like who's dying of health reasons in hip hop? Like that's very rare. Everybody who's passed away in hip hop, besides Eazy-E and a few others, has been killed. So when somebody dies health related, we don't expect that.
Okay. Yeah, because like it's like what you said too. Like people don't realize how young hip hop is. People think around hip hop's been
Mm-hmm.
around forever. It's like like it started in the Bronx. If they know the history.
Yep. And then like I said, I don't even know how old hip hop is. Like I'm not doing my research. I ain't gonna talk, but I think it started 77, I believe.
Yeah.
So hip hop is
76, 77.
So hip hop is 42 years old. So like I said, some of these guys were older than hip hop when they passed away. He was older than hip hop. Sean Price is older than hip hop. So to see guys pass away so young, it's like wow. You know what I'm saying? Like wow. And again, we're so used to violence and we're so used to things happen. So when people die from complications of health or health reasons, it's like wow, like Pun had a heart attack. Eazy-E allegedly died from AIDS. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Poetic died from pancreatic cancer. So we kind of like okay, that happens, but that's rare. So when with hip hop, we took a lot of hits in the past few years of people just passing away, but it was all health.
Yeah.
Sean Price was health.
Did you?
Prodigy's health.
Yeah, that's facts right there. That's all facts too.
Heavy D health.
And they don't realize that because like people are so quick to throw into conspiracy. It's like, dude, like, do you not know the history of their health? But mind you, some of them don't put it all the way out there. But with prodigies, though, like, sickle cell.
Yeah, no, the conspiracies are annoying.
Yeah.
They got annoying. They became something to talk about. Again, I blame social media. It just became a talking point where people could just talk, and it's something to talk about. And that's what it all became.
Did you ever get to experience the tunnel?
I've been in the tunnel. I wasn't a tunnel fan. At that time in my life, I was always in the studio. Always. So I didn't really go out much. I think I've been to the tunnel one time, and it was so crowded and crazy, I just didn't even go in. But yeah, if I see and say, yo, man, we was in the tunnel, a lot of my homeboys is always in the tunnel.
Okay.
And I just, at that time, I was so heavy into creating music, I didn't even go. I went up there one time, and it was just, I was like, man, I ain't dealing with this madness. You know what I'm saying?
There's too much people in there.
Yeah, I'm not standing on this long line. I'm just not dealing with it. But yeah, I've been to all the other spots, but the tunnel was just too chaotic to try to get in. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I'm not dealing with it.
A concert that you got invited to as a media personality.
I was at, I can't remember the name of this concert, but it was at the Barclays Center.
Oh, damn.
Little Kim performed. Oh, it was the Source. It was the Source, one of the Source events. So Little Kim was there at the Barclays Center. Bone Thugs performed. Wu-Tang performed. Dipset performed. Yeah, I was invited to that. That was maybe, like, 4 years ago? Yeah, 4 years ago. Yep, Little Kim. And I filmed some of it. You know, I filmed some of it. Filmed Little Kim performing. Matter of fact, yeah, it was around when so maybe it was longer than 4 years ago, because I don't know how long Bobby Shmurda has been locked up.
Yeah.
But it was around the time that he did when he had the song, the hot song out. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that was a while ago too. But damn, the Barclays Center, damn, that's huge.
Yeah, the Barclays Center. But that's Brooklyn though, so you know I'm Brooklyn, so I felt it was only right that I'm in the Barclays Center, because you know that's my hometown, and I grew up not too far from the Barclays Center, walking distance.
Favorite J album since you're from Brooklyn?
I think I would say between the Black Album and the Blueprint, but sometimes I lean towards the Black Album. It's a flip a coin the day I feel, but I think I would lean more towards the Black Album. It's if you ask me tomorrow, I might say the Blueprint. If you ask me a day after that, I might say the Black Album, but I would lean more towards the Black Album. I really like that album.
Yeah, because it's really hard to pick between like his vast discography. It's like, damn, man, it's kind of hard to pick which one's your favorite.
Exactly. Yeah, because I even like American Gangster. I love that album too. I love the American Gangster. Of course, Reasonable Doubt. Everybody says Reasonable Doubt, of course, and then I love the 444 album. So you know, it's tough. And then I love the Hard Knock Life album. You know, the Volume 1. It's tough, but for me personally, I think I played the Black Album more out of all of those albums. Then I love Blueprint 1.
I think albums like American Gangster age like wonderfully too, and I think like 30 years from now, when people listen to that American Gangster album, they're gonna like compare Jay to Frank Sinatra. I was curious if you agree with that.
I don't know about all that. Frank Sinatra is an icon. I didn't listen to Frank Sinatra. Don't give a damn about him. But I understand why people love him. But I guess in his own right, he would be his own Frank Sinatra type. So I understand the comparison.
Yeah.
I get it. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying for the icon status and what he did for the culture. So yeah, you know what? The way you're saying, he's actually compared himself to Frank Sinatra a lot of times. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
It's just like musically too, because like I'll keep it a buck. I listen to Frank Sinatra too, so when I listen to like Frank Sinatra, and I go listen to like American Gangster, when I listen to Party Life, I was like, okay, Hov, I see what you're doing.
You know, that's one of my favorite songs, The Party Life. I love that record.
I love it. Yeah, I knew you were a real one.
Yeah, we're so different. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Jay-Z songs. I thought I was like one of the only people who like that, and I love I love Party Life, and I love Mama I Made It. I love Mama I Made It.
Oh my god, that's a classic right there. We like a lot of songs that a lot of people you don't think of like out there.
Yeah, because I've always been a B-side person. I love singles, but it's always that song on the album that is like the sleeper that I just absolutely love and be my favorite song. You know. So I love Party Life. I love Party Life. That's like one of my favorite Jay-Z songs, you know, and it just had a good vibe. And Mama I Made It, I love that because I'm a fan of DJ Khalil from Self-Scientific, so most of the production that he does, I just love it.
And you can appreciate production too because you do it as well, so you know what goes into like making a beat.
Oh yeah, I know. I know the drums. I know the samples. I know, you know, the breakdowns. I know the hi-hats. I know. So that's what makes me love music even way more than people could imagine because I know the creation of it, and I know the equipment, and I know what they're using, and I know that's what makes me love it even more.
When did you first get your first placement, sir? I was curious. For producing.
It was Heltah Skeltah. The unreleased song from Heltah Skeltah called Teenage Love. It's out there though. It's a song called Teenage Love by Heltah Skeltah that I did in 1996.
Oh, wow. That's like Nocturnal Time, too. That's one of my, wow.
Yes. Yeah, it didn't make the album because they couldn't clear we did Slick Rick's song Teenage Love. They couldn't clear it, so they didn't use it, but they white labeled. The white label was like a form of, back then, bootlegging yourself. Like, you put out like a test pressing, and you would put a song in. So that was definitely that time.
I ain't gonna front. When I was first discovering hip hop, as I got older, I grew more appreciation to earlier work, and I remember going on DatPiff and trying to download old DJ Clue cassettes too, and I got a few of them, but I was like, man, like some of those songs on those Clue tapes, the world would never even hear it. So it's like, yo, I really wish they would put like Nature was on that heavy. Like there's so much classic verses that people would never like Mace mixtape Mace on DJ Clue tapes. People don't know about that.
Yeah, I tried to get Nature to record one of his old shootouts freestyles, the video. He didn't want to do it, but I definitely tried to do a video for that. I love that damn verse. Billy departed for years and died. I love that.
And then as the mixtape era grew too, you had people like, G Unit, Dipset come up too. I was curious on your intake on that.
Mixtapes were bigger than albums at one point. That's why the music industry, they originally hated mixtapes. And then they started embracing them because mixtapes were albums where you didn't have to put as much marketing and promotion into it as you would an album because it would go on the street and then it would circulate. So mixtapes, man, I'm talking about DJ White Owl, Big Mike, K-Slay mixtapes, Clue, Envy. Mixtapes were just, Superstar J, like mixtapes were just big in New York City because that's when you heard songs that you never was going to hear, unreleased songs, premiering of songs, new artists, freestyles, everything was in it. So, yeah, I definitely love that that era of mixtapes was important. And that's the only thing about the digital that I do miss. I do miss mixtapes because now the music is so all over the place. Mixtapes used to be a compilation of songs that this DJ thought was hot, especially when you go back to the Ron G mixtapes and the
yeah,
Kid Capri mixtapes. Kid Capri, Ron G, Doo-Wop, Craig G, SNS. Brucey B is a little before my time, but Craig G, SNS. Mixtapes was huge.
Do you got a good vinyl collection too, or you don't really collect that much vinyl? Because I understand people like physical products, and if you really do love this culture, you're gonna have something physical too. Like I have a Gainer CD.
Remember, I was a DJ and a producer, so I got like 10,000 records somewhere. I don't even know where they're at right now, but I got them. There's somewhere.
You still got it. That's good. You still got it.
Because I moved a few times. So when I moved, I left them in an old apartment, but I know the person I lived with didn't throw them away. They probably stored them somewhere for me. So I probably just have to call them and ask them. Yeah, but I had like 12,000 records. I definitely had a vinyl collection. Still got turntables.
Oh, what? Yeah, I was gonna ask you about your turntables too. When you're doing an interview, did anybody just like see your turntables? But you make beats too?
Yeah. That's what I started. I started as a producer. I still have all the vintage equipment. I still have the SP1200. Still have the S950. And in the recent times, I bought the machine. I got the MPC Renaissance. I got keyboards. But I haven't been actively making music in a while. Music to me is like riding a bike, honestly. I can get on a machine, any beat-making machine right now, and make a beat right in somebody's face. That's just simple as hell to me. Honestly, it's that simple, that easy for me to make music. So, I still maybe, but no, nobody's ever really seen me. The world doesn't know me as a producer. They just don't know that, and it's a good and bad thing, because when I finally say, you know what, I'm going to work on some music and stuff, I think people are going to be shocked. But, that's another dimension to me. But I've been having an itch lately. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been having an itch like, damn, man, I kind of miss making music.
Yeah, because like a producer never really loses its touch. It just like sometimes you just hear like certain productions, like, oh, I want to do this again.
Yeah, and definitely the Griselda era of music right now, the West Side Gun, the Conway, the Benny, the 38 Special, you know, that's definitely giving me that vibe of, yeah, you know, I want to do some music, man. I miss this type of music.
I was curious if you heard of the beloved Flea Lord.
Never. I have no clue who that is.
He works with Griselda. He collabs a lot with Griselda. He's got a lot of features from Griselda. You should definitely check out Flea. If you like Ito, Benny, or you're gonna love Flea Lord.
Oh, yeah, shout out to Ito. We're about to actually do an interview soon, me and Ito. When we get the time, we're going to do an interview. I got one with Benny. Did you see the interview I did with Benny?
Best believe I did, sir.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I did the Benny interview. I have a 38 Special that's done. But he didn't like the interview because he felt like he just got off the plane. He didn't have the energy that he needed, so he wanted to redo the interview. So that's going to come out. But I have a Benny interview done. I mean, I have a 38 Special done.
Shout out to Splash.
I did one with Riggs. Yeah, I did a Riggs interview. So I definitely love the upstate movement. I definitely think that they're bringing the sound of hip hop back to where, you know, is where it's really just hard beats and hard rhymes. It's not really party jingles and, you know, just dumb music.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like when you listen to it, it brings back the essence of lyrics. It's like, yo, there's like Tana Talk 3, like there's so much thought process and lingo that went into that project that there's like you it flies over a lot of people's heads, and like that's what like I have to tell like a lot of people my age. They're like, there's no hard headed beats. Motherfucker, did you listen to the album? Listen to the lyrics.
Yeah, I love Stab and Shot. That's my favorite project out of all those projects that was released. Stab and Shot, 38 Special, and Benny the Book. That's my favorite project. Stab and Shot. I love Stab and Shot.
That driver's seat goes off. Oh my god, I love that song.
Yeah. Oh, mine is the intro.
Yeah.
I love the intro.
Yeah, that's the intro.
It's actually in my gym playlist.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one of Jada Kiss and Styles P on it, right?
No. It's called the intro. It's Little Rico actually did the beat.
Oh yeah,
intro,
yeah.
Yeah, it's called the intro.
When you're when you're like listening to music too, knowing that you have interviews with them too, like I was wondering, like, do you ever like hear the lyrics a little bit differently sometimes?
It depends on the artist. I think, you know, me getting to know, because sometimes, like, when I do interviews with artists, we actually get the vibe and we talk about stuff outside. You know, if there was a fly on the wall, you know, you'd be surprised at some of the things we talk about after the interview or before the interview. So, I don't look at it different because I pretty much know who I'm dealing with. And I think the only time I looked at them different is when I interviewed Fetty Wap, because I didn't believe in Fetty Wap. I didn't think that he was, you know, I thought it was whack what he was doing. I was like, man, you know, I was like, man, this is corny, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, 2 weeks later, he was number one on Billboard. So I was like, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? So, what do I know? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're too real.
What do I know?
You're definitely too real. I like how you say, like, I didn't believe in him. You're definitely too real.
Yeah, I didn't believe in him. Like, I was like, man, this is horrible. Like, Trap Queen, he's sitting there, I'm like, oh, boy, this is horrible.
Like, you know that shit's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. 2 weeks later, he's number one on Billboard. We always talk about that. Like, you know, nowadays we don't know. We can't determine and judge music the way we did with the older the style of the way the music industry was. Like, it's a new wave. It's definitely, you know, it's all new. You know what I'm saying? It's all new.
Well, the reason I asked that question is because Max B, because he's locked up right now, and he's not seeing like what he influenced. Like, I'm pretty sure he hears about it and kind of sees what's going on when people come to visit him, but he's not really like seeing what French is doing. Like, cause like like people like Wiz Khalifa credit Max B like as being their influencers too. So I'm curious, like when you hear like certain Max B songs, like does it like hit you differently, not knowing that he's not here to see like what he influenced in this world?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, he left a great body of work, though. Max B was a worker, so you could just listen to a lot of Max B. But when you do listen to the Wiz Khalifas and even somebody from Griselda, I don't even think he's Griselda. He might be Black Soprano family. El Camino. El Camino sounds a lot like Max B.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you know who El Camino is, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. But that's Black.
He sounds a lot like Max B. He sounds a lot like Max B. So yeah, the influence is definitely there. So which is a good thing because I think Max B was a special artist, and I knew it then. I don't think the world knew it. I think via controversy, death, jail, shootings and stuff, I think people magnify people and make them greater. But I knew it then. I knew that he was special. I remember when I first heard him, I was like, yo, who was that? I liked him.
Yeah. Well,
he was like Max B. I was like, wow, what a name, Max B. What the hell type of name is that? That's what I first said. I'm like, what type of name is Max B?
Yeah.
That was a Max. And he went on to be, he's an icon right now. He's in jail, which is crazy,
And like, look what French went on to do too, like hanging out with the Kardashians too. Like, I still find that crazy. It's like, dude, you were doing DVDs in New York with the big Doughboy chain out. Now you're with the Kardashians. Just like you just never know in this life.
I think he knew, though. I think French knew some of the things that he was willing to do, the position he was willing to put himself in to get where he was going to get. So I do commend him for, getting there. Some of the ways that he might have gotten there. I don't know if I would do that way, but to each his own.
Yeah.
Because I'm not hanging around certain people under no circumstances. That's just me.
Yeah, because like you have to be aware of people too, and that's a lot of things that people don't realize too. Like, yeah, you really have to like know who's around you because like you just never know who be hating on you. You just really have to. One of the members from Black Soprano family said this in the song Rick Hyde. You don't know who's for you until you really transition in life. That's really true.
Yeah, there's especially coming up doing media. You do interviews with people and you think you have a good rapport, and then you go look on Instagram or something or Twitter and they blocked you, and it's like, what the hell did you block me for? I just sat there and edited your interview and sat with you for 2 hours and you didn't follow me. Like, I'm confused. So yeah, you just never know. That's why you just don't attach yourself to certain things and just do your job.
Well, Mr. Diamond, I'm really glad that you took the day out of your busy day to do this interview. This is a question that I ask all my guests, and even from the start of this interview, I wanted to ask you this question, but I was like, no, you gotta wait, Lo, you gotta wait till the end, because this is a question that nobody can ever answer the same because we're all unique individuals and we all have our own way of dealing this, and I actually started this podcast when I was in a dark place. I'm out of that dark place now, but maybe somebody, yeah, oh yes, thank you. But maybe somebody who really admires you and idolizes you will hear this message and take it to heart. With that being said, do you have any words for somebody in a dark place trying to see the light?
I've been in a dark place for years. I was in a dark place, not knowing where I was going, not knowing where life was taking me, knowing where I wanted to go, but feeling stifled, feeling uninspired, and just feeling down about life. And it was times where I just thought about jumping out the window and killing myself. But the only reason why I didn't do it, which is, not funny, but I said, if I jump out the window and don't die, I'm going to be in a lot of pain. And one thing I don't want to do is be in pain. So that's the only thing that stopped me from doing it. But being in a dark place, we all go through dark times. I mean, the sun don't shine forever. But even above the clouds, the sun is shining. It's just a little cloudy. So, you're going to have tough days. You're going to have days where you're just uninspired. You're going to have days where you're unhappy, but that's life, and you just got to get through it. You got to think about what makes you happy. You got to think about what makes you smile. Change the environment, change in the scenery, change of your circle, change of people sometimes is definitely going to get you through. And just remember, tough times don't last. Tough people do. And take this from me, somebody who was on the edge, literally, and I don't smoke, so I didn't, run to, smoking. I don't drink, so I didn't run to drinking. I really didn't have no coping mechanisms for getting out of that dark place, but just building and strengthening my mind and reinventing myself and reinvesting in myself mentally. Like, no, you are great. Yo, you are who you believe you are. You are that. And, just go from there and just build, every day, take one day at a time. Stop looking too far ahead. Take every day like, you know what? Today I'll be better than what I was yesterday. Tomorrow I'll be better than what I was last week. And take everything day by day, and slowly but surely you'll climb out of that darkness and see the light. And then you're going to have days where you're going to feel down again, but don't fall into a rut, because you remember you got out of it before, and you're definitely going to do it again. So with that, anybody who's going through it right now, via loss of loved ones, via loss of relationships, via loss of jobs, via loss of, loss definitely pushes us to a place where we're sad. You lose anything. You might lose your phone and be sad, but, remember, you can't lose something and lose yourself. One thing you should never lose is yourself. We're going to lose loved ones. We're going to lose relationships, whether it's platonic or whether it's romantic. That happens. That's a part of life. But just always take everything as a learning experience and try to learn and try to be better from everything that happens to you. And you're going to be okay. And if not, I'm going to kick your ass and find you and say, wake up and get up out of this bed and get up out of this slumber before I choke you. So you rather get choked by me, or you rather lay in the bed. You figure it out. I think you rather get up than me choke you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good answer, Mr. Diamonds, right there. And I really hope somebody out there who listens to you for not like religiously, like I see on your YouTube, takes that into consideration, because you're definitely one of the OGs in this, and you're a humbled soul, a very humbled soul, sir.
Yep, thank you.
And with that being said, oh yeah, did you want to plug anything before I let you go? My bad.
Yeah, definitely subscribe to my YouTube, Doggie Diamonds TV. That's where you see a lot of the video podcast interviews, but people got to remember that podcasting is definitely audio. So when you think about Doggie Diamonds No Filter podcast, don't always run to YouTube, but some of the videos will be there eventually. But it comes out on audio every Wednesday. A new episode drops every Wednesday. So Doggie Diamonds No Filter podcast is on radio.com. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on Stitcher. It's on Castbox. And just Doggie Diamonds No Filter. Right on your iTunes store, right on Spotify, and on the download the radio.com app. And Doggie Diamonds No Filter. And that's really it. And of course, I'm on all social media. And you can ask him on the phone. He hit me up to do an interview, and it took me 6 months to get back to him. To everybody. And, we just had fun, convenient time, and we did it, and we knocked it out. We here, y'all heard, So just hit me up on social media. Doggie Diamonds on everything, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Twitter, DoggieDiamonds, and that's it. But, just make sure you definitely subscribe to the podcast, Doggie Diamonds No Filter, on iTunes, or whatever you use, I'm on there. That's it.
And with that being said, I still can't believe this happened, because, man, I'm a fan first. Just to hear this guy come on my platform and tell a little bit of his story meant the world. From the Desk of Low, featuring Doggie Diamonds.
Yeah.